Question number 6 balan. Question number 6. Question number 5, answer first one. 5, answer first one. Then question number 6, think about. Question number 6. Relevant for reducing balance methods. Reducing balance methods. There's it has given purchase price. Lalit purchased machine motor vehicle on 1st April 2018. 80% on cash. Motor vehicle are depreciated 20% per annum on reducing balance methods. That's what is the carrying amount of motor vehicle as at 31st March 21. There's annual depreciation 31st March 21. Method reducing balance methods. It has given depreciation 20% per annum on reducing balance methods. Then depreciation can be calculated by using two methods. They ask carrying amounts. Think about very important. Carrying amount they ask 31st March 2021. Carrying amounts cost minus accumulated depreciation. Think it has given reducing balance methods. Therefore, from purchase date, think about only use 3 years. 1st April 2018, 19 period, 20 period, and 21 period. Therefore, try to calculate depreciation. Therefore, depreciation equal cost minus accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation into percentage. Reducing balance methods. They ask carrying amount 31st March 2021. Requirement very important. Carrying amount they ask. Therefore, try to calculate from the beginning depreciation for the year end 31st March 19. Think about first one for the year end 31st March 2019 period. Cost value equal record values in 1000, 8000, and accumulated depreciation 0. Then into 20%. This is the first year. First year depreciation. Therefore, here value equal 16,000. Use then try to calculate for the year end 31st March 2020 period. Cost value is not changed. It is equal 80,000. As accumulated depreciation, you have to consider 16,000 into percentage. Therefore, percentage 20%. This is second year depreciation. Second year depreciation equal 12,800. Then there's 31st March 21. Therefore, third year, 31st March 2021 year. Think separately you have to calculate annual depreciation each year, reducing balance methods. Now, as accumulated depreciation, you have to consider both value. First year and second year total value equal 28,800. Then based on that value, 20%. This is annual depreciation year 3. Therefore, 8,000 minus 28,800. Based on that value, 20%. Therefore, value equal 10,240. Now take the total depreciation. This is the total depreciation for 3-year periods. They ask carrying amounts. Carrying amount equal cost minus accumulated depreciation. Take total depreciation each year. Therefore, total depreciation equal 39,040. Therefore, this is the total depreciation. Then cost minus accumulated depreciation can be calculated carrying amounts. They ask carrying amounts. Cost value is given. Therefore, cost value equal 80 million. Record values in 1000. Accumulated depreciation equal 39,040,000. They ask carrying amount after 3 years. Therefore, 80 million minus accumulated depreciation. Therefore, carrying amount equal 40,960,000. Think reduce imbalance methods. How to calculate annual depreciation. Then think how to calculate carrying amounts. 3 years use from purchase date to end of the year. Therefore, question number 6 answer second one. Question number 6 answer second one. Think 7. Reduce imbalance methods. ගොඩාක් ළමයි වැඩි අවධානය යොමු කරන්නේ නැහැ මේ පාර්ට් එකට. Very important. And given 7th also relevant for reduce imbalance methods, but it has given disposal part. It has given Dilum PLC sold motor vehicle for 52,000 on 31st December 2020, which is purchased on 1st April 2018. Think from purchase date to disposal date, it has used 2 years and 9 months. අවුරුදු 2යි මාස 9ක් use කරලා. Up to disposal date. And cost value is given 100,000. Motor vehicle are depreciated 20% per annum. Reduce imbalance methods. There's what is the disposal profit and loss. There's disposal profit and loss. Prepare for that disposal accounts. Prepare T account for that disposal accounts. Prepare the disposal accounts. And it has given cost value as well as disposal value is given. Cost value and disposal value is given, but you have to calculate accumulated depreciation. Therefore, cost value it has given 100,000. Think double entry. Motor vehicle account credit, disposal account debit. Therefore, disposal account debit as a motor vehicle. Cost value. Disposal value also given 52,000. Cash account debit, disposal account credit as a cash. Now you have to record accumulated depreciation of disposal assets. Accumulated depreciation account debit, disposal account credit as an accumulated depreciation. Therefore, this is an important thing. From purchase date to disposal date, it has available 2 years and 9 months. Therefore, now try to calculate accumulated depreciation. For the year end 31st March 19, try to calculate 2 years and 9 months now. Think purchase date is given 1st April 18. Therefore, first year for the year end 31st March 19. Cost value equal 100,000. Think cost minus accumulated depreciation. Year 1 accumulated depreciation 0 into 20%. Therefore, first year depreciation equal 20,000. And second year for the year end 31st March 20 period. For the year end 31st March 20 period, cost value equal 100,000. As accumulated depreciation, now you have to consider first year depreciation and percentage 20%. Percentage 20%. Therefore, second year depreciation equal 16,000. It is available from purchase date to disposal date. From purchase date to disposal date, 2 years and 9 months. Therefore, think about third year. For the year in 31st March 21 period, it has available only 9-month period. Therefore, cost value equal 100,000. As accumulated depreciation, you have to consider last 2 year depreciation, 36,000. Then into 20%, that's annual, but it has not available entire year, 2 years and 9 months. පළවෙනි අවුරුදු දෙක තිබුණට අන්තිම අවුරුද්දෙන් මාස 9යි තියෙන්නේ. Therefore, into 9 over 12. Into 9 over 12, think disposal asset available from purchase date to disposal date, 2 years and 9 months. 2 years and 9 months. Therefore, 9-month depreciation equal 9,600. Therefore, this is the accumulated depreciation as at the disposal date. Therefore, take total value. Therefore, accumulated depreciation equal 45,600. 45,600. 45,600. This is the total depreciation. Accumulated depreciation account debit, disposal account credit. Accumulated depreciation account debit, disposal account credit. Therefore, it should be recorded disposal accounts 45,600 as accumulated depreciation. Now close the disposal accounts. Disposal profit and loss can be calculated. Debit side increase. Take that value credit side. Therefore, difference value should be considered as a loss. If difference value available credit side, that is a loss. Therefore, loss equal 2,400. This is the loss. Therefore, think about disposal loss. If difference value available credit side, that is a loss. Therefore, question number 7 answer second one. 7 answer second one. Next one, relevant for CVP analysis. That's what is the total contribution if following information related to single product. Given fixed overheads, margin of safety is given, and variable cost to sales ratio is given. Variable cost to sales ratio equal VS ratio. If it has given VS ratio, balance part CS ratio. Therefore, CS ratio equal 30%. May the total අනිවාර්යෙන් 100 වෙන්න ඕන. Therefore, at the same time can be calculated CS ratio also. It has given VS ratio. Therefore, CS ratio, contribution to sales ratio also can be calculated. Balance part. Therefore, CS ratio equal 30%. CS ratio equal 30%. It has not given. Contribution to sales ratio. May the total equal 100 word. Both values should be calculated based on selling price. And given total fixed cost as well as margin of safety, there's total contribution. Think contribution include what? Contribution included fixed cost and profit. Contribution fixed cost and profit. Think about this one. General equation cost plus profit equals selling price. This one very important. Cost plus profit equal selling price. Cost plus profit equal selling price. In this lesson, cost can be divided by two parts, variable cost and fixed cost. Therefore, this equation can be written like this also. Cost can be divided by two parts, variable cost plus fixed cost plus profit equal selling price. Then this is also selling price equation. Variable cost plus fixed cost plus profit equal selling price. Therefore, now think about this part. How to calculate contribution per units? Selling price minus variable cost equal contribution per units. Therefore, selling price minus variable cost equal contribution per units. It is included fixed cost and profit. There's total contribution. Therefore, total contribution also included fixed cost and profit. Fixed cost we know. This value we know. Think fixed cost it has given. This is the fixed cost. Now think how to calculate profit. Fixed cost plus profit equals total contribution. Contribution equals selling price minus variable cost. It is included fixed cost as well as profit. Fixed cost is given, but profit is not given. Profit can be calculated. Think there are four equations. Total income minus total expense cannot be applied here. Total contribution minus total fixed cost cannot be applied. Margin of safety quantity into contribution per units cannot be applied. Think about only last equation. Profit equal CS ratio. Profit equal margin of safety value. Margin of safety value into CS ratio equal profit. Therefore, MOS value into CS ratio equal profit. MOS value into CS ratio. It has given margin of safety value equal 7 million. Margin of safety value equal 7 million and CS ratio equal 30%. CS ratio equal 30%. Therefore, this is the profit. Therefore, profit equal here 2.1 million. And total contribution include fixed cost and profit. Therefore, fixed cost equal 12 million and profit equal 2.1 million. Then can be calculated at total contribution. Therefore, total contribution equal total contribution. It is included total fixed cost and profit. Therefore, total fixed cost equal 12 million and profit calculated it is equal to 2.1 million. Think how to calculate total contribution. It is include total fixed cost and profit equal total contribution. Therefore, value equal answer is 14,100. Very important. Think how to calculate CS ratio. Think how to calculate contribution per units. Try to recognize it is included what? Fixed cost and profit. Fixed cost is given. Think how to calculate profit. Then can be calculate total contribution. Answer is the first one. Therefore, question number 8, answer 1. Next one, question number 9. MCQ, very, very important. Question number 9, think about. It is also relevant for reducing balance methods. There's annual depreciation for the year end 31st March 2021. Sometimes there's carrying amounts. Sometimes there's annual profit and loss. Sometimes there's annual depreciation. Asset purchase 1st April 2018, but there's after 3 years. There's 3rd year depreciation. Therefore, reducing balance methods, depreciation equal cost minus accumulated depreciation into percentage. Think how to calculate depreciation. And accumulated depreciation, therefore annual depreciation can be calculated cost minus accumulated depreciation into percentage. There's annual depreciation year 3, 3rd year, 31st March 21. Purchase date is given 1st April 2018. Therefore, think about 19 periods, 20 periods, and 21 periods. This is the general equation. Then try to calculate separately for the year end 31st March 19, for the year end 31st March 20, and for the year end 31st March 21. Therefore, cost value year 1 for the year end 31st March 19, cost value equal 70,000, accumulated depreciation 0. Think how to calculate year 1 for the year end 31st March 20. So 19, that is a year 1, 20%. Therefore, year 1 depreciation equal 14,000. Then calculate for the year end 31st March 20 period. Think cost value equal 70,000. As accumulated depreciation, you have to consider year 1 depreciation. And given percentage 20%. Percentage 20%. Therefore, 70 minus 14,000 into 20%. Therefore, 11,200. This is a 3rd year depreciation, 2nd year depreciation, and think about 3rd year. For the year end 31st March 21 period, there's annual depreciation for the year end 31st March 21. Separately should be calculated. Think cost value equals 70,000. Now, as accumulated depreciation, last 2 year depreciation, total value equal to 25,200. This one plus this one. Think how to calculate reducing balance methods. And given percentage 20%, take the answer. Cost value 70,000 minus 25,200. Then based on that value, you have to calculate at 20%. Therefore, depreciation equal 8,960. This is answer. Now there's annual depreciation for the year end 31st March 21. Therefore, answer is fourth one. Reducing balance methods. Think how to calculate annual depreciation. Next one, question number 10. Question number 10, think what would be the answer? 10th one, think what would be the answer? There's a mistake here. Think what would be the answer? On ගොඩාක් ළමයි මේකත් වරද්ද ගන්න ගානක්. Think question number 10. Company produce single product and cost of production of this product equal 500 per unit. Think cost per unit is given. Cost per unit. And it is given of which 60% is variable cost. Therefore, balance part fixed cost per unit can be calculated. And company currently produce 20,000 units. Very important. මේ ගාන ගොඩාක් ළමයි තේරුම් ගන්නේ නැහැ. Current production quantity equal 20,000. Think selling price. So cost value is given. Cost of unit 500, 60% variable cost. Balance part fixed cost. And given current production quantity. As well as given CS ratio also. Contribution sales ratio. Company has bear and additional fish production overheads rupees 800,000 when the current activity level increased to 30,000. Think current activity level equal to 20,000. And 30,000 වලට increase වුණොත් additionally 800,000 we have incurred as a fixed cost. There's break even point rupee value. At current activity level and production cost per units at an activity level 30,000. That first one record given information. It has given cost per unit is given. Cost per units. Cost per unit is given. Cost per unit equal 500. And variable cost 60%. Therefore, can be calculated variable cost per unit. Unit variable cost can be calculated. Unit variable cost equal 60%. In unit variable cost not change. Variable cost per unit when quantity increase or decrease not change. As well as can be calculated fixed cost per unit also. Cost per unit is given. Cost per unit included variable cost and fixed cost. Cost per unit equal 500 and calculated variable cost per units. Then can be calculated unit fixed cost. Think what unit fixed cost? Unit cost equal 500. It is include variable cost 300. Therefore, unit fixed cost equal 200. And given quantity also. It has given current production quantity. Current production quantity equal to 20,000. Therefore, now can be calculated total fixed cost also. And 20,000 hadana velave unit fixed cost equal 200. Therefore, total fixed cost can be calculated. Therefore, total fixed cost equal unit fixed cost we know 200 and production quantity equal 20,000. Therefore, this is the total fixed cost in this situation. Very, very important part. This is the first part, given information. And given CS ratio also. It is equal, CS ratio equal 20%. Therefore, first one there's break even point value. Therefore, break even point value can be calculated. Think BEP value equal total fixed cost divided by CS ratio. Therefore, BEP value, there's current activity level, BEP value. Value there's not quantity. Therefore, BEP value equal total fixed cost divided by CS ratio. Divide by CS ratio. CS ratio also given. Now take the answers. Total fixed cost calculated, it is equal 4 million. And divided by CS ratio. Divided by CS ratio, it has given 20%. 20% equals 0.2. Very important theory available here. One theory part එක realize when you practice again. ඔගොල්ලෝ දැන් කරන්න ඕනේ practice. Therefore, break even point value equal to 20 million. Yes, first requirements. Break even point rupee value current activity level equal to 20 million. As well as they ask cost of production per unit at activity level 30,000. Think cost per unit included variable cost and fixed cost. Cost per unit included fixed cost and variable cost. Cost per units. Think cost per units. Cost per units. It is included variable cost as well as fixed cost. Variable cost as well as fixed cost. Fixed cost available and variable cost available. Therefore, think variable cost per unit is not changed. Those are thing available cost per units. Variable cost per unit calculated, it is equal 300. When quantity increase or decrease, variable cost per unit is not changed. Therefore, this is a variable cost per units. Now think when quantity increase to 30,000, additional fixed cost we have incurred 800,000. Therefore, now think about fixed cost equal 4 million. When quantity 20,000. But when quantity increased to 30,000, additionally we have incurred 800,000. Therefore, now think how to calculate fixed cost per units. Fixed cost available 4 million. But additionally we have incurred 800,000 when quantity increased to 30,000. Therefore, when quantity 30,000, total fixed cost equal 4,800,000. Therefore, this one divided by quantity 30,000. Therefore, this is the fixed cost per units. Quantity 30,000 වෙනකොට additionally we have incurred 800,000 as a fixed cost. Therefore, when quantity 30,000, total fixed cost equal 4.8 million. Think about unit fixed cost now. Therefore, 4.8 million divided by 30,000. 4.8 million divided by 30,000. That is unit fixed cost. Now unit fixed cost equal 160. Think about when quantity increase, unit fixed cost normally decrease. In this situation, unit fixed cost equal to 100. But think about here, unit fixed cost now equal 160. Therefore, this one plus this one, that is unit cost. Therefore, unit cost equal this one plus this one equal 460. Therefore, very, very important. Think when quantity 30,000, they ask cost of production per unit. Cost of production per unit included variable cost as well as fixed cost. Variable cost per unit is not changed, but fixed cost change. Fixed cost per unit change. Total fixed cost normally not change, but when capacity increase, total fixed cost also increase. Therefore, when quantity 30,000, total fixed cost equal 4,800,000 divided by 30,000. This is a unit fixed cost now. Unit variable cost same. They ask unit cost. Therefore, question number 10, answer 5. Question number 10, answer 5, very important. Question number 10, answer is 5. Question number 10, answer 5. Think how to calculate cost per units, how to calculate total fixed cost, how to calculate break-even point value. දැන් ගණන් හදන්න බලන්න පාඩම් දෙක තුනක් එකට මතක් වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි වෙන්න ඕනේ දැන්. Right, next one. That next paper, it has given there are 2 papers for MCQ. From the beginning, I will discuss. Relevant for revenue recognition contract with customers. There are 4 examples available. There are 4 examples. It has given revenue recognition contract with customers. Revenue recognition contract with customers. MCQ second part. MCQ second part. Revenue recognition contract with customers. I will discuss from the beginning. That question of first one and second one relevant for disposal part based on reducing balance methods. That part I will discuss later. From the beginning, I'm going to discuss revenue recognition contract with customers. I think from question number 4th one. On a tama theorune nattang SLFRS 15. Revenue from contract with customers. Very, very important. May par paper ke aniwara meno. Try to recognize standalone selling price also. On a tama SLFRS 15 theorune nattang allagan try karanna. Revenue from contract with customers also. Question number 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. That think about when we are going to recognize revenue from contract with customers. Other income wala තියෙනව නෙවෙයි, disposal profit වගේ දේවල් නෙවෙයි. Those are also income. Therefore, SLFRS 15 is not relevant for all the income. Only revenue recognition contract with customers. Revenue recognition contract with customers. Right, think about question of 4th one. Very, very important. ඒකනේ දැන් අපි කාට හරි බඩුවක් විකුණලා ඒත් එක්කම තව මොනවාරි සර්විස් එකක් දෙනවා නම් ඒ දෙකටම අපිට සල්ලි යම්මින් හොඳට බලන්න question number 1. Normally there are 5 steps to be applied. First one, identify the contract with customers. Second one, identify the performance obligation. Third one, identify the transaction price. Then 4th one, allocate the transaction price. Then last one, recognize revenue when performance obligation is satisfied. They ask MCQ paper, there are 5 step model. මුලින්ම contract එක identify කරගන්න ඕන. Second one, performance obligation ටික identify කරගන්න ඕන. ඒක අපි පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච දේවල්. Performance obligation. After that, identify the transaction price. Allocate the transaction price based on standalone selling price. As well as recognize revenue when performance obligation is satisfied. That question number 4th one. Company has entered into contract with customers. ඔන්න මේ පාර company sum එකේ adjustment එකක් විදිහට අනිවාර්යම වෙනවා. මේ ප්‍රශ්න 4 තේරුණොත් මේ පාඩම ගැන idea එකක් එනවා. The company has entered into contract with customers on 1st July 2020. Think about date, very important. To sales goods. ඔන්න බලන්න performance obligation. පළවෙනි එක තමයි විකුණන්න agree වෙලා. And provide maintenance service. Those are called performance obligation. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙයා පොරොන්දු වෙලා තියෙනවා බඩු විකුණන්න ඊට පස්සේ maintenance service එකක් දෙන්න. There are 2 performance obligation. During the first 6 months after sales. ඔන්න maintenance service දෙන්නේ කවද්ද? After 6 months. During the sales after first 6 months. ඔන්න විකුණපු දවස් ඉඳලා පළවෙනි මාස 6 තුල විතරයි. Very important this part. ඒකයි date එක අපිට වැදගත් වෙන්නේ. අපි බලන්න ඕනේ maintenance service එකක් දීලාද නැද්ද? During the economic period. Think about date. Let's given customer enter into agreement with customers. Sales goods. First one, second one, provide maintenance service. First 6 months after sales. Those are the performance obligation. The total consideration of this contract was 60 million. ඔන්න ඔය කතන්දර දෙකම කරන්න 60 million මෙයා charge කරනවා. That is a transaction price. Third step, determine the transaction price. විකුණන්නයි maintenance service එක දෙන්නයි දෙකටම 60 million charge for that, of which 48 million relevant for sales of goods. On එකෙන් 48,000 for sales of goods, and balance part provide maintenance service. Think balance part equal 48 million relevant for provide maintenance service. So 48 million relevant for sales of goods. Balance part mean 60 million minus 48 million. Therefore, balance part equal 12 million. It is relevant for provided maintenance service. Think about maintenance service charges equal total value 60 million minus 48 million. Therefore, for provide maintenance service 12 million. Think about allocate the transaction price. Gonna make transaction price allocate among the performance obligation. Gonna make 60,000 වලින් for sales of goods 48,000, balance 12 million relevant for provide maintenance service. Allocate the transaction price. And given company sold all goods agreed in contract on 1st August 2020. ඔන්න විකුණලා තියෙන date එක. දැන් මේක තමයි අපිට වැදගත් වෙන්නේ maintenance service එක මේ අවුරුද්ද දීලාද නැද්ද කියලා හොයාගන්න. Think about sales it has given 1st October 2020. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ මෙදා ඉඳන් 6 month. කවද්ද ඉවරනේ කියලා බලන්න. Think about August, September, October, November, December, January. එහෙනම් January වෙනකොට 6 month කියන කතාවත් ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් maintenance service එකත් මේ අවුරුද්දෙම දෙන්න ඕන. අව ඒකනේ period 31st March 21. දැන් ඔයා බලන්න ඕනේ 31st March 21 වෙනකොට performance obligation satisfy වෙලාද? විකුණලාද? ඔව්. Therefore you have to consider as income 48,000 for that. Maintenance service එක provide කරලාද? බලන්න ඕනේ 31st March 21 වෙනකොට. It has given maintenance service provided first 6 months after sales. එහෙනම් විකුණපු date එකේ ඉඳලා 6 month කියන කතාවත් ඉවර වෙලා තියෙන්නේ 31st March 21 වෙනකොට. Therefore, for provide maintenance service as income we have to consider 12 million. And for sales we have to consider 48 million. Therefore, as at 31st March 21, performance obligation is satisfied. අපි පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච ඒවා ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. මාස 6 කතාවත් ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් maintenance service එකක් දීලා ඉවරයි. විකුණලත් ඉවරයි. Therefore, total 60,000 can be considered as income separately. As a sales, you have to consider 48,000, and as a maintenance service provide income 12,000. Therefore, this is the answer. What is the double entry? Cash account debit, sales account credit, cash account debit, maintenance service provide income account credit. Service income. There are two performance obligations. SLFR is 15. Revenue from contract with customers. 5-step model. First one, identify the contract with customers. Second one, identify the performance obligation. අපි පොරොන්දු වෙලා තියෙන මොනවද කියලා බලන්න. විකුණන්න පොරොන්දු වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ මාස 6ක් ඇතුළත මේන්ටේනන්ස් සර්විස් දෙන්න පොරොන්දු වෙලා. අන්නේ පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච ඒවා 31st March වෙනකොට ඉටු කරලාද කියලා බලන්න. When performance obligation is satisfied, revenue can be recognized. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් විකුණපු date එකේ ඉඳලා මාස 6ක් ඇතුළත තමයි මේන්ටේනන්ස් සර්විස් එක දෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් 31st March 2021 වෙනකොට මේන්ටේනන්ස් සර්විස් එකක් දීලා ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් ඒකට දාලා ගාන කල 12 million also can be recognized as income. Therefore, they ask, what is the correct answer to recognize revenue for the year end 31st March 21? As a sales, you have to consider 48,000, and as a maintenance service income, you have to consider 12,000. Think revenue should be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. Therefore, performance obligation පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච දේවල් satisfy කරලා ඉවරයි. කවද වෙනකොටද? end of the accounting period වෙනකොට. එහෙනම් ඒකට අදාළ ගාන income එකක් විදිහට ගන්න පුළුවන්. Total value cannot be considered as a sales. As a sales, you have to consider 48,000, and balance part maintain service provide income. right. ඔන්න දැන් මේක හොඳට තේරෙනවා question 5 හදනකොට. right, question 5 බලන්න. think what 5-step model MCQ paper there has 5 step also. First one, identify the contract with customers. Second one, identify the performance obligation. Third one, determine the transaction price. Fourth one, allocate the transaction price. And fifth one, recognize revenue when performance obligation is satisfied. Think question number 5. It has given company enter into contract with customers 1st October 2020. Date very important. මේ තමයි contract එකට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන date එක. To sales goods. Think about performance obligation. To sales goods, that is the first one. And provide maintenance service. And provide maintenance service during the first 6 months after sales. ඔන්න විකුණපු date එක ඉඳලා තමයි 6 month දෙන්නේ. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ විකුණලා තියෙන්නේ කවද්ද? අන්න ඒකනෝ තමයි income එක recognize කරගන්න. The total consideration of contract was 80 million. It is called transaction price. Third steps. Determine the transaction price. මේ කතන්දර දෙක සඳහාම 80 million අපි charge කරනවා. And of which 62 million relevant for sales of goods. Think allocate the transaction price. 62 million relevant for sales of goods. Then balance part provide maintenance service. Total transaction price equals 80 million. 62 million is relevant for sales of goods. Balance part provide maintenance service. Allocate the transaction price out of 80 million. 62 million relevant for sales of goods. It means balance part relevant for provide maintenance service. Balance part equal 18 million. දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ කොච්චරක් income වලට ගන්න ඕනද. Given company sold all goods agreed in contract on 1st 12/2020. ඔන්න විකුණලා තියෙන date එක බලන්න. එහෙනම් දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ මෙදා ඉඳන් මාස 6 කියන කතන්දරේ ඉවරද 31st March වෙනකොට. This is a selling dates and maintenance service provided first 6 months after sales. Think about now December available, January available, February available, March available. දැන් මාස 4ක් විතරයි maintenance service එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. But relevant for maintenance service 18 million. For 6 month period for provide maintenance service 18 million is relevant. Think about allocate the transaction price. 18 million allocated for maintenance service provide income for 6 month period. But during the current period, maintenance service is provided only 4 months. මාස 6ම තාම ඉවර වෙලා නැහැ. අපි පොරොන්දු වෙලා තියෙනවා මාස 6කට maintenance service දෙන්න. එතන මාස 6 සඳහාම තමයි 18 million අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ. But our economic period end of the year 31st March 21. නැත්නම් විකුණපු date එකේ ඉඳලා 31st March 21 වෙනකොට maintenance service provided only 4 month period. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. Therefore 62,000 can be considered as income. හැබැයි maintenance service එක තාම දීලා ඉවර නැහැ. Agree to provide maintenance service first 6 months. Up to 31st March 21 only provided maintenance service 4 month period. Revenue should be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, total 18,000 now cannot be considered. Very, very important. Total value cannot be considered. It has given 18 million relevant for 6 month period. This one divided by 6, that is a 1 month value, but provided during the current period only 4. Therefore, this is the value should be considered as a maintenance service provide income. Performance obligation is satisfied, income can be recognized. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider now, not 18 million. ඔන්න බලන්න තේරුම් ගන්නට තැන. ඕගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච දේවල් ටික ඔක්කොම ඉවර වෙලාද නැද්ද? Agree to provide maintenance service first 6 months after sales. අන්න ඒක ඉවර වෙලා නැහැ. 31st March වෙනකොට මාස 4ක් විතරයි maintenance service දීලා තියෙන්නේ. But 18 million relevant for maintenance service for 6-month period. That value divided by 6. But during the current period, only provided 4 months. Therefore, as a service provided income, you have to consider 12 million. But as a sales, you have to consider 62 million. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. Maintenance service එක තාම දීවල ඉවර නැහැ. Revenue should be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. Therefore, as a sales, you have to consider 62,000, and as a maintenance service provided income, you have to consider not 18,000, 12,000. ඔන්න දැන් 18,000ම ගන්න බෑ. මාස 6ම maintenance service එක දීලා නැහැ. ඒ වුණාට 18 million අපිට හම්බෙලා තියෙන්නේ මාස 6 සඳහාම. මාස 4ක් විතරයි service එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Therefore, performance obligation is not satisfied. ඔක්කොම පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච දේවල් ඉටු කරලා නැහැ අපි. එහෙනම් ඉටු කරලා තියෙන ප්‍රමාණයට අදාළ ගාන විතරයි income වලට ගන්න. SLFRS 15. Revenue recognition contract with customers. Right. Question number 4 and 5. Now next one, very very important part. You have to know standalone selling price also. Now think about question number 6 and 7. ඔන්න තාම exam එකේ check කරලා නැහැ. මේ පාර එනවා. ඔන්න මේ ටික check කරා ගියේ පාර paper එකේ. But this part is not checked. But very important, it has given clearly standards. You have to know how to recognize standalone selling price also. සාපේක්ෂ තනි විකුණුම් වටිනාකම. Think about question number 6 and 7, very important. ඔන්න question number 6 and 7 තේරුණොත් standalone selling price එක තේරෙනවා. Revenue recognition contract with customers. Think question number 6, 16, sorry 6. Question number 6. 5-step model, think about 5-step model. ABC Limited enter into agreement with customer on 1st January 2020. Think about date, 1st January 2020 for 80 million to sales and installation of machine. ABC Limited enter into agreement with customers for sales and installation of machine. Sales and installation of machine, that is a first performance obligation, and provide maintenance service for one year monthly basis. On a performance obligation දෙකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මෙතන sales and installation කියන දෙක වෙනම ගන්න බෑ. මොකද අපි machine එක විකුණවුවට high කරන්න නැතුව පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑ. Therefore, this one should be considered as a one. This is a first performance obligation. Sales and installation. විකුණලා high කරලා දෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අවුරුද්දක maintenance service එකක් දෙනවා monthly base එකට. There are 2 performance obligations. For that, they charge 80 million. ඔන්න මේ කතන්දර දෙකටම තමයි 80 million charge කරන්නේ. That is a transaction price. Determine the transaction price. දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ මේකෙන් කොච්චරක් යනවද? Sales and installation and provide maintenance service. Revenue from contract with customers. දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ performance obligation satisfy වෙලාද? විකුණලාද maintenance service එක දීලාද? Right. It has given machine was delivered to the customer business on 1st April 2020. ඔන්න agree වෙලා තියෙන මෙදා හැබැයි අරන් ගිහලා තියෙන මෙදා. Delivered to the business and installation of machine was completed. ඔන්න high කරලා ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් මෙදාට think what 1st July 2020 වෙනකොට sales and installation වලට අදාළ ගාන income විදිහට ගන්න පුළුවන්. Think first performance obligation is satisfied on 1st July 2020. ඔන්න මෙදාට තමයි identify කරගන්න revenue එක. මොකද මෙදා වෙනකොට තමයි performance obligation එක satisfy වෙන්නේ. විකුණපු දවසේ නෙවෙයි. විකුණවට high කරලා නැත්නම් අපිට use කරන්න බෑ. Therefore, as a revenue should be considered, this is the date. when performance obligation is satisfied. Think first performance obligation, sales and installation of machine. විකුණලා high කරලා දෙනවා. එහෙනම් first එක හරි බලන්න. ඒකට අදාළ ගන්න income විතර ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ maintenance service එක දීලා ඉවරද නැද්ද? And given started to provide maintenance service 30th September 2020. ඔන්න service එක දෙන්න පටන් ගන්න තියෙන දවස. Our economic period end of the year 31st March 20. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ maintain service එක අවුරුද්දම දීලාද නැද්ද? මාස කීයද දීලා තියෙන්නේ? Agree to provide maintenance service for 1 year monthly basis. අවුරුද්දකට agree වෙලා තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් විකුණලා high කරලා දෙනවා. අවුරුද්දක maintenance service එකක් දෙනවා. For that they charge 80 million. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. හැබැයි පටන් ගන්න provide maintenance service 30th September 2020. Think about September not available. October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months provided maintenance service. Therefore, maintenance service provided only 6 months during the economic period. Think of economic period end of the year 31st March 21. Agreed to provide maintenance service 1 year. But during the economic period provided only 6 months. එහෙනම් service income එකට අදාළ ගාන ගන්නකොට ඔක්කොම ගන්න බෑ. Reason performance obligation is not satisfied. අපි පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච ඔක්කොම ඉටු කරලා නැහැ. service එක අවුරුද්දක් දෙන්න පොරොන්දු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. That is a performance obligation was not satisfied as at 31st March 21. දැන් එහෙනම් as a income you have to consider only 6 month value. Now think about standalone selling price. This is a transaction price. What is the meaning of standalone selling price? It has given normal price of sales and installation of this machine 70,000. ඔන්න අපි විකුණලා high කරලා දෙන එක විතරක් කරනවා නම් 70,000 charge කරනවා 70 million. And normal maintenance service provide income for 1 year period 30 million. දැන් මේ දෙක වෙන වෙනම අපි කළොත් that is a standalone selling price. සාපේක්ෂ තනි විකුණුම් වටිනාකම. විකුණලා high කරලා දෙන එක විතරක් නම් කරන්නේ 70,000 charge කරනවා. Maintenance service එක විතරක් නම් අපි දෙන්නේ 30,000 charge කරනවා. බලන්න වෙන වෙනම දුන්නා නම් 1 million charge කරනවා. හැබැයි අපි දෙකම අපි කරන නිසා මේගොල්ලෝ discount එකක් දෙනවා. මේ ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ එකම business එක නම් අපි high කරලා විකුණලා high කරලාම දෙනවා නම් අපිම service එක දෙනවා නම් ඒගොල්ලෝගේ 100,000 ම charge කරන්නේ නැහැ බලන්න. Therefore this is a transaction price equal 80 million. But standalone selling price equal 70 million and 30 million. Total value equal 100 million. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ කතන්දර දෙක වෙන වෙනම කරනවා නම් විකුණලා high කරලා දෙන එක විතරක් නම් අපි කරන්නේ they charge 70 million. Maintenance service එක විතරක් නම් අපි දෙන්නේ 30 million charge. It is called standalone selling price. සාපේක්ෂ තනි විකුණුම් වටිනාකම. Standalone selling price. And given the total transaction price was paid on 1st April 2020 by the customer. අපිට සල්ලි හම්බෙලා 80 million. Cash account debit. Now you have to know how much should be considered as a sales. How much should be considered as a maintenance service provided income. They ask accounting period end of the year 31st March 21. What is the correct answer to recognize revenue for the year end 31st March 21 based on SLFRS 15? Think sales and installation of machine, that is the first performance obligation, is satisfied. Standalone selling price equals 70,000. But transaction price it has given. Allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation by using standalone selling price. අපි වෙන වෙනම දුන්නට 1 million අපි දෙන්නේ 8 million. අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ 8 million. Therefore, think about identify the contract with customers. Second one, identify the performance obligation. There are 2 performance obligation. Third one, determine the transaction price 8 million. And fourth one, allocate the transaction price. ඔන්න ඔතන තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. 80 million එක තමයි allocate කරන්න ඕනේ මේ දෙක අතර. This is the transaction price, not 100 million. That is a standalone selling price. But by using standalone selling price, allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation. Fourth step, very important. This is the way. First one, try to recognize performance obligation and try to recognize standalone selling price. Then try to recognize allocate the transaction price. Allocation part very important. Think what this workings. First one thing, performance obligation, sales and installation of machine, and provide maintenance service. There are two performance obligation. Standalone selling price for sales and installation of machine, standalone selling price equal 70 million. It has given. And for provide maintenance service, it has given 30 million. It has called standalone selling price. Venama me deka kalot api charge karana gaan. Therefore, total value equal 100 million. But now it has given transaction price 80 million. Allocate the transaction price. Then transaction price me deka atar bedala denno. Think about when total values 100 million, sales and installation equal 70 million. Enam make 100 වෙනකොට මේක 70 නම් enam මේක 80 වෙනකොට මෙතන කීයක් වෙන්න ඕනද? That is the allocation of transaction price. Think about when total value 100, sales and installation equal 70. Enam මෙයා 100 වෙනකොට මෙයා 70 නම් මෙයා 80 වෙනකොට මෙතන කීයක් වෙන්න ඕනද? That is allocation of transaction price. Allocate fourth steps. Therefore, 80 million divided by 100 million into 70 million. Take answer here. 80 million. Take values in 1000. It has given values in 1000. Therefore, here 70,000. Here 30,000. And total value equal 100,000. Values it has given 1000. Therefore, here transaction price equal 80,000. Now 80,000 divided by 100,000 into 70, that is the way allocation of transaction price. 80 million divided by 100 million into 70 million. Take the answer. Allocate the transaction price. Allocate transaction price. Therefore, 80 million divided by 100 into 70. Therefore, here value equal 56 million. Think allocate the transaction price. 56 million. This is the transaction price for sales and installation of goods. This is the value you have to consider as income. And think about provide maintenance service. Think for provide maintenance service, how much should be considered as income? For provide maintenance service, think about when selling price 100,000, provide maintenance service value equal 30,000. Then think when selling price equal 8,000. When transaction price 8,000, think here value. Therefore, 80,000 divided by 100,000 into 30,000. On a may par in 8,000 divided by 100,000 into 30,000. This is the allocation of the transaction price. Fourth steps. After that, revenue can be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. Therefore, 80,000 divided by 100,000 into 30,000 value equal 24,000. Therefore, this is value should be considered as a maintenance service provided income. Think total value should be equal 8,000. Total value should be equal 8,000. Therefore, this is called allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation. Then mogolu balanna ona performance obligation satisfy velada. This is value for sales and installation of machine as income. You have to consider 56,000, not 70,000. Think transaction price equal 80,000. There is a discount. Therefore, sales and installation of machine you have to consider 56,000. Vikunala Ivara. It has given sales date, it has given 1st July 2020. එහෙනම් මෙදා වෙනකොට as a income can be recognized 56 million. Therefore, as a sales, you have to consider 56 million. But think about maintenance service provide income. For provide maintenance service, it started 30th September 2020 and agreed to provide maintenance service 1 year periods. Agreed to provide maintenance service 1 year periods, monthly basis, but provided during the current period only 6 months. මාස 6ක් විතරයි performance obligation service එක දීලා තියෙනවා. Therefore, as a maintenance service income, total value cannot be considered as income. As a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider only 6 month period. Therefore, try to recognize maintenance service provide income. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider only. Therefore, think about maintenance service provide income. Total value cannot be considered. Reason performance obligation is not satisfied. Maintenance service එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ මාස 6ක් විතරයි. Therefore, 11 for 24 million for provide maintenance service, but during the current period, maintenance service provided only 6 months. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider only 12 million, not 24 million. Think about transaction price. Allocate the transaction price. Then determine. Think about revenue can be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. එනම් විකුණලා ඉවරයි ඊට අදාළ ගාණ අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් 56,000 can be considered as income, but as a maintenance service provide income, total value cannot be considered. අවුරුද්දටම තමයි 24 million අදාළ වෙන්නේ. But during the current period, maintenance service provided only 6 months. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider 12 million. As a sales, you have to consider 56 million. Therefore, question number, this here answer equal first one. Very, very important. Think standalone selling price and allocate the transaction price. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ ගාන තේරුම් නැත්තම් 10 පාරක් විතර හදන්න මේක. ඒක මම වීඩියෝ එක බලන්න එතකොට හරියනවා. ඒ වගේ ගානක් හදන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම වෙනවා එක්සෑම් එකේ. Try to recognize standalone selling price. දෙපාරක් තුන් පාරක් හදනකොට නැවත නැවත මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා මතක් වෙනවා දෙපාරක් තුන් පාරක්. ඒතකොට ඒවා නිකම්ම රියලයිස් වෙනවා. Right. Therefore, this is the way. Think about performance obligation. There are 5 steps. Identify the contract with customers. Second one, identify the performance obligation. Third one, determine the transaction price. Fourth one, allocate the transaction price. Think about this part, very important. On a transaction price එක performance obligation අතර බෙදලා දෙනකොට we have to apply standalone selling price. වෙන වෙනම service එක දුන්නා නම් 100 million. එහෙනම් මෙයා 100 million වෙනකොට for sales they charge 70 million. මෙයා 100 million වෙනකොට for maintenance service provide income equal 30 million. එහෙනම් 100 million වෙනකොට මෙහෙමනම් 80 million වෙනකොට කොහොමද කියලා බලන්න. ඊට පස්සේ බලන්න performance obligation satisfy වෙලාද? පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච දේවල් ඔක්කොම ඉටු කරලාද? විකුණලා high කරලාද? එහෙනම් මේක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. Maintenance service එක agreed to provide 1 year period, but during the current period maintenance service provided only 6 months. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, you have to consider only 6 month value. Total 24,000 cannot be considered. Right. ඔන්න තාම තේරුනේ නැත්නම් question number 7 වලින් අල්ලගන්න. යන question number 7. Standard very important. Definitely they ask. Definitely this part they ask. තාම check කරේ නෑ මේක. ඔන්න ගිය පාර check කරේ අර උඩින් අපි discuss කරපු එක. Right. Question number 7 also same information but there is a small difference. ඔන්න දැන් date එක විතරයි වෙනස් වෙන්නේ බලන්න. Dates. Try to recognize performance obligation. Revenue can be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. එතකොට මැෂින් එක විකුණපු වෙලාවේ නෙවෙයි අපි ගන්න ඉන්කම් එක විදියට හයි කරලා ඉවර වෙන වෙලාවේ. මොකද විකුණුවට හයි කරන්න නැතුව පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් performance obligation එක satisfy වෙන්නේ විකුණලා හයි කළාට පස්සේ. ඔන්න first part එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right, now think about this example. Only numbers and date change All others information same. It has given ABC Limited enter into agreement with customers 1st January 2020. This is the transaction price now 75 million. To sales and installation of machine. First, performance obligation and provide maintenance service for 1 year monthly basis. Second, performance obligation. Or the main step identify the contract with customers, determine the transaction price, identify the performance obligation. Step 3 kivarai me venako. Then machine was delivered to the customer on 1st January 2020. On a deliver karla ivarai mullim. But installation on machine was completed 1st April 2020. On a meda tamai api first part ki income එක ගන්න. විකුණා වට high කරලා ඉවර නැත්නම් අපිට ගන්න බෑ income එකක් විදියට. Installation of machine was completed on 1st July to 1st April 2020. මෙදා තමයි performance obligation එක satisfy වෙන්නේ. ඊටාට sales වල අදාළ ගන්න ගන්න පුළුවන්. But given started to provide maintenance service, started provide service 30th June 2020. දැන් බලන්න ඕන මෙදා ඉඳලා end of the year වෙනකම් මාස කීයක් තියෙනවද? Think agreed to provide maintenance service 1 year period. But think about July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Therefore, during the current period, maintenance service provided only 9-month period. Agreed to provide 1 year. එහෙනම් maintenance service එක ඔක්කොම ගන්න බෑ. මාස 9ක් විතරයි service එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Therefore, maintenance service as income should be considered only 9-month period. But agreed to provide 1 year. Then given standalone selling price, normal price of sales and installation of machine was 72 million. කොන අපි විකුණලා high කරන එක විතරක් නම් කරන්නේ they charge 72 million. And normal maintenance service provide income for 1 year period 18 million. කොන අපි maintenance service එක විතරක් නම් දෙන්නේ they charge 18 million for that. Those are called standalone selling price. Think about total value equal here 90 million. But transaction price equal 75 million. දෙකම අපිම කරනවා නම් අපි discount එකක් දෙනවා මේගොල්ලන්ට බලන්න. Therefore, transaction price equal 75 million. 15 million discounts. අඩු කරලා තියෙනවා price එකකින් අපි 15 million. අපිනේ දෙකම කරන්නේ. ඒතර අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ට discount එකක් දෙනවා. And given total transaction price was paid on 1st April 2020 by the customer. Customer ගෙවල කියන අපිට හම්බෙලා. Cash account debit. Therefore, think how much should be considered as sales, how much should be considered as a maintenance service provided income. And given accounting period end of the year 31st March 21. They ask, what is the correct answer? To recognize revenue for the year end 31st March 21. Think as sales, how much should be considered as well as maintenance service provided income. Now you have to apply standalone selling price, allocate the transaction price. Among the performance obligation, allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation. Therefore, prepare workings. Performance obligation is standalone selling price and allocate the price. Right, transaction price equals 75 million. But think about standalone selling price. සාපේක්ෂ තනි විකුණුම් වටිනාකම. For sales and installation 72 million. Record values in 1000. And for provide maintenance service 18 million. Therefore, total value equal 90 million. And 90 million වෙනකොට තත්ත්වය මේක. But transaction price equal 75 million. එහෙනම් මේක 75 million වෙනකොට think how much should be considered as sales and installation and provide maintenance service. Therefore, 75 million divided by 90 million into 72. 75 million divided by 90 million into 18. Allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation. Therefore, 75 million. 75,000 divided by මෙයාගෙන් divide කරනවා. Divide by 90. Divide by 90 million into 72. allocate the transaction price. Then take the answer. Allocate the transaction price among the performance obligation. Take the answer here. Therefore, 75 million divided by 90 into 72. Here value equals 60,000. And next one, think provide maintenance service. Also 75 million divided by 90,000 into 18,000. 75,000 divided by 90,000 into 18,000. Take the answer. Therefore, here value equal 15 million. Think total value should be equal 75,000. This is the allocate the transaction price, step number 4. Now, when performance obligation is satisfied, revenue can be recognized. Then balance first take ivarada, second take ivarada. Porondu vechi deval karala ivarada kila balan. Sales and installation of machine, it has completed on 1st April 2020. Therefore, as a sales can be considered 60,000. But think about maintenance service provide. Agreed to provide 1 year period, but only provided a 9-month period. Therefore, as a maintenance service provide income, total value cannot be considered as income. Maintenance service එක අවුරුද්දකට දෙන්න පොරොන්දු වුණාට අපි දීලා තියෙන්නේ මාස 9ක් විතරයි. Therefore, relevant for provide maintenance service 15,000. 15,000 relevant for provide maintenance service. But during the country period, only provided maintenance service for 9 months. Therefore, this one divided by 12 into 9. This one divided by 12 into 9. That is the value should be considered as income, as a maintenance service provide income. Divide by 12 into 9. Therefore, maintenance service provide income equal 11,250. Think revenue can be recognized when performance obligation is satisfied. Total 15,000 cannot be considered as income. But think sales and installation of machine 60,000 can be considered as income. But maintenance service provide income only 11,250. Therefore, answer, think about as a sales 60 million and maintenance service provide income 11,250. Very, very important. Relevant for SLFRS 15. Revenue from contract with customers. Think standalone selling price, 5-step model. Very, very important. Allocate the transfer price, very important part. This part, very important. Right. Then next one. Now think about question number 1 and 2, also very important. On a question number 1 and 2, tam exam ke vilane. Reducing balance methods, disposal adjustment. I have discussed some example last week also. Think question number first one now. When make up question number 3, very important, relevant for standards. Third ek muli mivarkalen. Third one relevant for standard part. ඔන්න මේවා කටපාඩම් කරගන්න ඕන දේවල්. ඒකයි මම නැවත නැවත දාන්නේ. State whether the following statement are relevant for accounting standards, true and false. Yes, given first one, those data provide evidence of the condition that existed at the end of the reporting period are adjusting events after reporting periods. This is a definition of adjusting events. Those data provide evidence of the condition that existed at the end of the reporting periods. On adjusting events or definition. Therefore, this one true. There's true and false. First one true. This is a definition. And second one, those that are indicative of condition that arose after the reporting periods are non-adjusting events after reporting periods. This is a definition. On a non-adjusting events or definition. those that are indicative of the condition. Think about those that are provide evidence of the condition. The answer true and false like this. This is standard. The next one, accounting estimate change from time to time due to new information and trend. No මේකත් මට කියලා දෙන්න ඕන කක්. නිතරම අහනවා paper එකේ case 37. estimate කියනවා change වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ lifetime එක change වෙන්නේ, residual value එක change වෙන්නේ, depreciation method එක change වෙන්නේ, doubtful debts rate එක 5% 10% කියන එක change වෙන්නේ, warranty percentage එක change වෙන්නේ, income tax last quarter estimate value change වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ කාරණා දෙක නිසා. New information as well as trend. Therefore very important. This is standards true. Estimate change time to time due to new information and trend. Next one, think about D. Accounting policies are specific principle basis, conversions, rules and practice applied by an entity in preparing and presenting financial statement. Also definition of accounting policies. මේවා නිතර නිතර දාන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මේවා මතක තියාගන්න ඕන. Standard very important. ඒවා එකපාරක් දෙපාරක් බැලුවට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. නැවත නැවත බලන්න. Right. Now think about question number 1. Relevant for disposal adjustment and depreciation, it has given reducing balance methods. Right. Question number 1, think about. It has given motor vehicle of accounting period end of the year 31st March at 21. 31st March 21. Think about it has given any organization. It may be partnership, it may be company, it may be sole proprietorships, all the business available, land, building, motor vehicle. And trial balance it has given motor vehicle 31st March 21. Motor vehicle available 250,000. Accumulated depreciation available beginning of the year 93,200. And given depreciation 20% reducing balance methods. Very important. Given motor vehicle which had been acquired for 120 million on 1st April 2018 was sold for 74 million on 1st October 2020. Given disposal date during the accounting period, therefore we have to discuss disposal adjustment for the year end 31st March 21. Disposal date is given during the accounting period. Thus, what is a motor vehicle disposal profit and motor vehicle depreciation for the year end 31st March 21? All profit එක හොයන තාලේ දන්නවා, annual depreciation හොයන තාලේ තමයි දන්නේ. Right. Now I'm going to discuss both parts. First one, think about disposal part. Prepare the disposal account for that. Think cost value, disposal value, and accumulated depreciation as well as disposal profit and loss. It is enough to disposal accounts. No need to prepare all the ledger accounts. Right, prepare the disposal accounts. Record given information. Think motor vehicle disposal asset cost value equal 120,000. Record values in 1,000. Cost value motor vehicle account credit, disposal account debit. අපි ගාව තියෙන motor vehicle විකුණවුවොත් motor vehicle අඩු වෙනවා. Effect for motor vehicle decrease, motor vehicle account credit, disposal account debit as a motor vehicle. Step number 1. And disposal value it has given 74,000. It is effect for cash increase. Therefore, cash account debit, disposal account credit as a cash. Now think how to calculate accumulated depreciation of disposal assets. Think from purchase date to disposal date, it has available 2 years and 6 months. Disposal asset available 2 years and 6 months. Therefore, think how to calculate accumulated depreciation. From purchase date to disposal date, it has available 2 years and 6 months. Therefore, try to calculate accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation we are going to calculate as at 31st, sorry, disposal date. Disposal date is given 1st October 2020. We are going to calculate accumulated depreciation up to disposal date. 2 years and 6 months use. Therefore, try to calculate separately. First one, try to calculate for the year end 31st March 2019 period. Separately, you have to calculate reducing balance methods. Disposal asset cost value equal 120,000. Therefore, 120,000 minus accumulated depreciation is given 0 into 20% on a palavini out the depreciation of disposal assets value equal 24,000. And for the year end 31st March 20, second year also available entire year on devani out the sampurna matibila. Therefore, cost value equal 120,000 of disposal assets. As accumulated depreciation, first year depreciation should be deducted, then 20%. Take second year depreciation, 120,000 minus 24,000 into 20%. Therefore, second year depreciation equal 19,200. But think about third year, not available entire year. තුන්වෙනි අවුරුද්දේ මාස 6ක් විතරයි තියෙන්නේ බලන්න. Therefore, during the accounting period, it has available only 6 months. For the year end 31st March 21 year. ඒක සම්පූර්ණ අවුරුද්දම හොයන්න බෑ. මාස 6ක් විතරයි තිබිලා තියෙන්නේ. Therefore, cost value equal 120,000. As accumulated depreciation, now total value. First year depreciation as well as second year depreciation. Total value equal 43,200. Then take the percentage 20%. Take answer 120,000 minus 43,200 into 20%. That is annual depreciation, but it has not available entire year. This one into 6 over 12. Think for the year end 31st March 21 period, disposal asset available up to disposal date only 6 months. Therefore, into 6 over 12, take the answer. Therefore, disposal assets annual depreciation during the current period, depreciation equals 608,000. On a Vikunan asset take May Aurud the depreciation. Our accounting period end of the year 31st March 2021. Therefore, our accounting period it has available only 6 month period. Our accounting period it has available 6 months. Now take the total value. Take the total value. Therefore, 24,000 plus 19,200 plus 7,680. Therefore, total depreciation equal 50,880. This is the accumulated depreciation as at the disposal date. Now think double entry. Things should be calculated separately. This is a reducing balance methods. Therefore, what is a double entry? Accumulated depreciation account debit, disposal account credit. Therefore, disposal account credit 50,880 as accumulated depreciation. As accumulated depreciation, total depreciation equal 2 years and 6 months. Thing like straight line basis cannot be calculated at once. Reducing balance method should be calculated step by step. But මේ part එක තේරෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ. මේකේ වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි annual depreciation හොයන දේ. Right now, close the disposal accounts. Take increase side. Credit side total money equal 124,880. Take that value debit side. Therefore, difference value should be considered as a profit. Difference value equal 4,880. If difference value available debit side, it is a profit. Therefore, disposal profit equal 4,880. Think how to calculate disposal profit and loss, reducing balance methods depreciation. Now think how to calculate annual depreciation. Think reducing balance methods. There's annual depreciation also. Then when we are going to calculate annual depreciation, Now think motor vehicle available beginning of the year 250,000. ප්‍රමාණ මුලින් මෙච්චරක් තිබුණාට විකුණලා තියෙන 120,000. එහෙනම් ඉතුරු asset එකේ cost එක බලන්න හොඳට. Therefore cost value of balance motor vehicle. Balance ඉතුරු ටිකේ balance motor vehicle ඉතුරු ටිකේ cost එක බලන්න 250,000 තිබුණාට විකුණුව 120,000. Therefore balance motor vehicle cost value equal 130,000. And think it has given accumulated depreciation beginning of the year. එහෙනම් මේක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා disposal කරපු asset එකේ depreciation ටිකක්. Think disposal asset accumulated depreciation up to beginning of the year. ඔන්න තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන තැන. Think first year and second year depreciation. Those are the value available in the opening balance. ඔන්න මෙතන තියෙන්නේ පළවෙනි අවුරුදු දෙකේ depreciation විතරයි. This is annual depreciation. Disposal asset also available during the current period 6 months. Opening balance එක තුල disposal asset එක වෙනුවෙන් කරපු depreciation විදියට තියෙන්නේ පළවෙනි අවුරුදු දෙකේ depreciation විතරයි. Therefore think how to calculate accumulated depreciation of opening balance of balance motor vehicle. ඉතුරු motor vehicle වල opening balance එක හොයා ගන්නවා. ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන ටිකේ. Therefore accumulated depreciation of balance motor vehicle. ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන motor vehicle වල accumulated depreciation opening balance. It has given opening balance 93,200. ඒක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා විකුණුප එකේ depreciation ටිකක්. Disposal assets accumulated depreciation up to beginning of the year. Only first 2 year depreciation. Therefore here total amount equal 43,200. දැන් කෙලින්ම 50,880 deduct කරන්න බෑ. හේතුව මේක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා විකුණුප asset එකේ මේ අවුරුදු මාස 6 depreciation ටිකක්. Trial balance available opening balance. එහෙනම් opening balance එක තුල තියෙන්නේ disposal asset එකේ opening ටික විතරයි. But up to 1st April 2020 disposal asset available 2 years. Therefore first 2 year depreciation available opening balance. Therefore here 93,000 minus 93,200 from that value should be deduct 43,200. Not 50,880. අපි deduct කරන්න ඕනේ විකුණන asset එකේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ මුල වෙනකන් කරලා තියෙන depreciation විතරයි. මේ අවුරුද්දේ මුල වෙනකන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ පළවෙනි අවුරුදු දෙක විතරයි. Therefore this is the accumulated depreciation of balance part. ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන motor vehicle වල accumulated depreciation 150,000. Now think how to calculate annual depreciation. Therefore annual depreciation can be calculated now. Very important. තාම paper එක ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ මේක. ඒකයි ළමයි දන්නේ නැත්තේ. මේ පාරේ නෝ. Right. Now think about annual depreciation. Therefore annual depreciation of balance motor vehicle. Annual depreciation of balance motor vehicle. Of balance. ඉතුරු ටිකේ. Of balance motor vehicle. It cost value equal 130,000 now. දැන් බලන්න ඉතුරු ටිකේ cost එක 130,000. It accumulated depreciation equal 50,000. ඉතුරු ටිකේ accumulated depreciation තියෙන්නේ 50,000. Therefore into 20%. Into 20%. This is annual depreciation of balance motor vehicle. Therefore 180,000 minus 50,000. 130,000 minus 50,000 equal 80,000. 80,000 into 20% equal 60,000. That value plus annual depreciation. Disposal asset also available. Think about this one. විකුණපු asset එකත් මේ අවුරුද්දේ මාස 6ක් තිබිලා. Therefore, 6 month depreciation of disposal asset also should be considered as annual depreciation. This is a balanced motor vehicle annual depreciation. Based on matching concepts. Now think matching concepts. If asset use, depreciation should be considered as expense. විකුණුවට ඒකත් මාස 6ක් sales income එක generate වෙන්න දායක වෙලා. Therefore, income should be matched with its corresponding expenses. Therefore, disposal asset also available during the accounting period 6 months. එහෙනම් ඒකත් sales income එක generate වෙන්න දායක වෙලා මාස 6ක්. එහෙනම් ඒකේ මාස 6කට අදාළ ප්‍රමාණය expense විතර ගන්න ඕනේ. Therefore, now think annual depreciation equal. Now think annual depreciation equal. Therefore, take the value annual depreciation. Annual depreciation equal 16,000. That is a balanced motor vehicle. ඒ තමයි දැන් ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන motor vehicle වල annual depreciation. And disposal asset also available 6 month period. Therefore, 6 month depreciation it has calculated this value. Then take the total value equal 23,680. Therefore, this is the annual depreciation. How to calculate? Think balance motor vehicle annual depreciation. ඔන්න මේවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම බලා ගන්න. මොකද මේට කලින් ඇවිල්ලා නැති නිසා ගොඩක් තැන් වල උගන්වන්නේ නැහැ. මේ පාර තමයි ඉස්සරවම එන්නේ. Therefore, this is the value you have to consider as annual depreciation. Disposal asset also available 6 months. You have to apply matching concepts. It has also contributed 6 month period for generate income. Income should be matched with its corresponding expenses. Therefore, as annual depreciation, you have to consider 23,680. Disposal profit equal 4,880. Therefore, think what could be the answer. Therefore, answer is profit equal 4,880. It has available disposal accounts and annual depreciation equal 23,080. Therefore, think what would be the answer. Therefore, answer, this is the annual depreciation and this is the disposal profit. Think disposal profit, think annual depreciation. Matching concept you have to apply. Reducing balance methods. Therefore, question number, answer is the fourth one. Answer is the fourth one. Therefore, answer is the fourth one. Question number first one, answer 4. Very, very important. Reducing balance method, it has given disposal also. Next one. Question number second one I'll discuss later. It is also relevant for this theory part. Think question number next one. Next one, very important. Question number 8. Relevant for leasing. Think how to recognize lease liability. On one leasing in a plan kramatina tuna. Asset purchase beginning of the year, asset purchase end of the year, asset purchase previous year. තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන කරුණු තුනක් තියෙනවා. asset එක මේ අවුරුද්දේ මුල ගත්තොත්, මේ අවුරුද්දේ අග ගත්තොත්, ගිය අවුරුද්දේ ගත්තොත්, මීට කලින් ගත්තොත්. Our accounting period very important. This is the financial accounts. Try to recognize our accounting period also. Think trial balance it has given 31st March 2021 and trial balance available right of use of lease property as well as lease creditor also given. Lease creditor as well as right of use of lease property. Think additional information. Our accounting period end of the year 31st March 2021. Accounting period end of the year 31st March 2021. Think it has given the company Aqua motor vehicle. ඕගොල්ලෝ දැන් තේරුම් ගන්න හිතන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න මේ විදියට. asset එක purchase කරලා තියෙන්නේ කවද්ද? මුලද අගද මීට කලින්ද? Our accounting period started 1st April 2020. But given company Aqua motor vehicle 1st April 2019. ඔන්න හිතන්න. Asset purchase before this financial year. ඔන්න මීට කලින් asset එකක් අරන් තිබුණොත් normally if it has given leasing adjustment 4 steps should be applied. Initial lease liability, down payment, current interest, and installment paid in cash. 4 steps should be applied if asset purchase beginning of the year. But if asset purchase end of the year, 2 steps, down payment and initial lease liability. If asset purchase before this financial year, 2 steps, current interest and installment. ඔන්න තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන තැන. මුල ගත්තොත් step 4ම යනවා. Initial lease liability, down payment, current interest, installment. But if asset purchase end of the year, only current initial lease liability and down payment. එතකොට current year interest එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. Installment ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ. But if asset purchase before this financial year, මීට කලින් අරන් තිබුණොත් එහෙනම් initial lease liability and down payment recorded at the time of purchase. Purchase කරපු දවස් තමයි ඒව record කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට step දෙකයි යන්නේ current year interest and installment. Therefore think what in this example asset purchase before this financial year. ඒරවල හිතන්න ඕනේ දැන් current year interest and current year installment. Only 2 steps. Down payment, initial lease liability recorded already. And given on this date, fair value of motor vehicle 90 million. Fair value, that is a market value. Down payment 40 million. Those are recorded, no need to consider. Those are recorded at the time of purchase, last year. No need to consider this year for those kind of thing. And given for the annual lease installment 16,000. Installment should be paid each year. And given lease term of motor vehicle 4 years, as well as lifetime it is given 5 years. Think lease period and lifetime is changed. It is relevant for depreciation for the year calculation. It is depend on ownership of asset is passed or not to the company. Given ownership of motor vehicle is passed to the company. If ownership of asset is passed, when we are going to calculate annual depreciation, cost value should be divided by lifetime. Lifetime, if ownership is passed. If ownership is not passed, lower period should be considered. Not lease period. Lower periods. Normally lease period low. Normally. ඒකෙන් කියන්නේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම lease period ගන්න කියලා. Very, very important. Given interest for 4-year period. This is a last year interest. No need to consider. Last year interest, it has considered last year. Think this one is not relevant now. Our economic period 20 and 21 period. Therefore, this is value should be considered as a current interest. This is a next year interest. Next year value relevant for current liability calculation. First 19-20 period is not considered now. It is not relevant. And given current year installment has been paid, but no adjustment has been made in this regard in the books of accounts for the year end 31st March 21. Very important, asset purchase before this financial year, only 2 steps should be applied. Current year interest as well as current year installment should be recorded. Therefore, current year interest equal our accounting period 20 and 21 period. Those are the things you have to consider now. No need to consider initial lease liability. No need to consider down payments. Those are recorded last year. There's lease liability, current liability, the liability presented under current liability, as well as non-current liability, as well as there's annual depreciation also. And calculate annual depreciation for the year end 31st March 21. Think annual depreciation, it is easy to calculate. Cost value equal 90,000. Therefore, think annual depreciation 90,000 divided by lower period. If it has given residual value should be deduct, but not given residual value. Ownership is passed, therefore should be divided by lifetime. Therefore, annual depreciation equal 90,000 divided by 5, 18,000 on a depreciation. And lease credit current and non-current liability. Lease credit current and non-current. ඕන නම් කෙලින්ම අපිට account එක ගන්න නැතුව හොයන්න පුළුවන් බලන්න. If it has given interest clearly, This is the way you have to calculate current interest and current liability, non-current liability. Account එක හදන්න නැතුව අපිට මෙතනම හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. How to calculate? This is the way you have to calculate. No need to prepare ledger accounts. ඔන්න ledger accounts නැතුව අපි හදන විදිය බලන්න. Next year installment minus next year interest. Think installment equal 16,000. From that value deduct 16,000 minus next year interest. For making next year 21 and 22 period. Therefore, this is value should be included under current liability. Value equal 13,000. ඉතුරු ටික යන්නේ non current liability වල. ඉතුරු ටික installment minus next year interest. Think installment equal 16,000. Installment equal 16,000 and minus interest. Minus interest. Take the answer. That is the value should be included under non current liability. ඔන්න කෙලින්ම අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. If it has given interest clearly. Think current liability equal 13,000, non-current liability equal 14,000, depreciation equal 18,000. Think what would be the answer? Right now, think what ledger accounts also. On a ledger account එක නැතුව අපි හදන විදිය. Think how to calculate depreciation and current liability, non-current liability. This is a current liability. This is value should be included under current liability, and this is value should be included under non-current liability. Non-current liability. Ledger accounts no need to prepare. But prepare the ledger accounts. Ledger accounts එක අපි හදලා බලමු පොඩ්ඩක්. Prepare the ledger account also. Prepare lease credit accounts. Only two steps to be applied: current interest and installment. And given current interest, it is given. Therefore, if asset purchased before this financial year, prepare the lease credit accounts. Or then lease credit account එකෙන් හොයන්න තාලේ බලන්න. දැන් මෙතන මම කියලා දුන්නේ account එක ගහන්න නැතුව. Current year 20 and 21 periods. Current interest became expense. And current liability should be included installment minus next interest. Then ledger account එක ගහලා බලමු ඔය කතන්දරය ඇත්තද කියලා. Prepare the ledger accounts. Lease credit account, it is enough on lease creditor. Therefore, lease credit accounts. Prepare lease creditor. This is a lease creditor. And trial balance, it has given opening balance also. Lease creditor. Lease credit trial balance, it has given opening balance as a balance brought forward. Balance brought forward value equal 39,000. Now asset purchased before this financial year. Therefore, only two steps should be applied. Current interest equal 4,000. Interest expense account debit, lease creditor credit. As a lease interest. As a lease interest. As lease interest 4,000, lease creditor credit. And installment paid in cash equal 16,000. Cash account credit, lease creditor debit as a cash. Paid in cash 16,000. Therefore, think about lease credit accounts. Now take the closing balance. Lease creditor balance carry down. Therefore, normally credit side increase. Take total amount of credit side. Take total amount of credit side increase. And difference value as a balance brought forward. Try to calculate closing balance lease creditor. Therefore, normally credit side increase, take value. Credit side total value equal 43,000. Credit side total value equal 43,000. Credit side total value equal 43,000. Take that value debit side also. Therefore, debit side take that value 43,000. And difference value balance carry down. Therefore, difference value balance carry down. Difference value balance carry down. balance carry down. Think difference value 43,000 minus 16,000. 43,000 minus 16,000. Therefore, value equal 27,000. That is a total liability. It should be recognized separately. Current and non-current liability. Balance brought forward same value. Credit side as a balance brought forward. Think about lease creditor closing balance equal 27,000. That is value should be recognized as current and non-current. Now think under current liability, installment minus next year interest. Then think how to recognize this value. Total liability equal to 27,000. Therefore, this value should be recognized separately now. Think current liability as well as non-current liability. Under current liability, installment minus next year interest. Under current liability should be included installment 16,000. From that value deduct next year interest equal 3,000. Think value equal 13,000. And total liability equal 27,000. Therefore, from 27,000 deduct think non-current liability. Non-current liability. Total liability equal to 27,000. From that value deduct included current liability 13,000. Therefore, balance part non-current liability. Therefore, non-current liability 14,000. Think same answer. By preparing ledger account also can be recognized. Think value included under current liability as well as non-current liability. This is value included current liability as well as this is value included non-current liability. It can be calculated without preparing ledger accounts. Think current interest became expense. Next year, from next year, installment minus interest, current liability, balance part, but installment minus interest, non-current liability. Depreciation thing. Ownership of asset is past, therefore divided by lifetime. Therefore, current liability value equal 13,000, non-current liability 14,000, annual depreciation value equal 18,000. Cannot be divided by 4. Can be divided by 4 if ownership is not passed. Ownership passed when nothing, divide by lower period. But question number 8 answer equal first one. 8 answer first one. Think very, very important. Without preparing ledger account also can be calculated. Next one, question number 9. Today I will discuss comparison together with manufacturing accounts. Very, very important. Manufacturing account එක හදලා company ගානක් හදනවද? That question number 9 බලන්න. 9.11 for income tax normal adjustment. But given trial balance total paid amounts, total paid amount is given. Think income tax adjustment. Our accounting period end of the year 31st March 21. Income tax paid amount is given total value. Cash flow statement as income tax paid should be included paid in cash during the accounting period. And given this year, so last year, last quarter estimate value also. Our accounting period end of the year 31st March 21. Given provision for income tax for as at 31st March 20. For the year end 31st March 20. Last year, last quarter estimate value. It is relevant for under provision or provision. Think changes in accounting estimates. And given income tax expense, income tax paid includes 240 million paid for previous year. Think total paid amount is given, not given separately. Sometimes it is given first 3 quarter paid amounts as well as last year, last quarter paid amount separately. But in this example, it has given total paid amounts. It is included last year, last quarter paid amount. It has given separately. Therefore, can be recognized first 3 quarter paid amount also. And given this year, last quarter estimate value also. This year, last quarter estimate value also given. This year, last quarter estimate value also given. And given income tax liability of the last quarter of the current year was estimated 280,000. That is a value should be considered as a liability. Only this year last quarter estimate value should be include financial position as liability. Now they ask income tax expense for the year end 31st March 21 after adjusting previous year gap, and they ask income tax liability as at 31st March 21 and income tax paid amounts included in the cash flow statement. Right. Total paid amount it has given, it is equal 590,000. 590,000 equal total paid amounts, but it is included last year last quarter paid amounts. Therefore 590,000 minus 240,000. Therefore answer is a first 3 quarter paid amounts. On making a deduct karot last year last quarter paid amounts can be recognized first 3 quarter paid amounts. First 3 quarter paid amount equal 350,000. ඔන්න අපි ගණන් හදන අවුරුද්දේ පළවෙනි quarters 3ට ගෙවලා තියෙන ගාණ. But given income tax liability of the last quarter of the current year was estimated 280,000. This year last quarter estimate value also given. That is a value not paid as of 31st March 21. Then take total value. It is equal income tax liability for the year. Therefore here total value equal 630,000. Then adjust previous year gap. It has given provision for income tax opening balance equal 270. This is a provision last year last quarter estimated and considered as expense, but actually paid for that equal 240,000. And last year as income tax considered as expense 270, but actually paid for that equal 240,000. Therefore previous year income tax consider over value. Provision is over. If it is over provision, difference value should be deduct. Therefore over provision deduct here, difference value 30,000. Then think how much should be considered as expense. After adjusting previous year gap, this is the value should be considered as income tax expense, but financial position under current liability as income tax liability should be included only this year last quarter estimate value. If it is given under provision should be added. If it is given over provision should be deducted. Therefore now think what would be the answer. Income tax expense equals 600,000. Income tax liability as at 31st March 21 only this year last quarter paid amounts, last quarter estimate value, as well as cash flow statement as a income tax should be included only paid amount this financial year. It is relevant for last year or this year, but paid in cash this financial year. Cash basis. Cash වලින් ගෙවපු ගාන විතරයි අපි ගන්න. ගෙවලා තියෙන්නේ ගිය අවුරුද්දේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මේ අවුරුද්දේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But paid in cash during the current period in the cash flow statement as income tax should be included only paid in cash value. 509,000. Therefore question number 9th answer. 1. Think question number 10 also relevant for say issues. Think definitely they ask in the paper right issue as well as bonus issue. Right issue and bonus issue also they ask in the paper. Think question number 10th one. Think about requirement also. It has given Amara PLC had issue 500,000 ordinary shares and given it value also. Number of share issue 500,000. Ordinary shares, share capital, account show the balance 60 million. This is the value. Opening number of shares 500,000. It value equal 60 million. Think opening balance 1st April 2020. And company capitalized return earning by issuing 1 share for every 5 shares held on 1st July 2020 at 90 per share. Reserves capitalization. That is the second part. Think second part reserves capitalization. First share price it is given and ratio also given. Further right issue was made issuing 1 share for every 6 shares held on 1st January 2021. Date important. Date after reserves capitalization, right issue has given. Per share price also given. And all rights were exercised by the shareholders. What is the increase or decrease in share capital of the company? Now there's increase or decrease in share capital. Right, prepare the workings. First one, prepare the workings. Then separate column for date as well as number of shares, per share price, value. Prepare working like that. First one, think about date. Second one, number of shares issue. Number of share issue. Number of share issue. Per share price. Per share price. Then think about value. Opening balance, think about date. It has given 1st April 2020. Number of shares available 500,000. Number of shares. But not given per share price. Value is given. 60 million value. Per share price can be calculated. Shares value divided by share quantity. Therefore, value divided by quantity per share price on it is not necessary. Then the next one, it has given company capitalized return earning. Capitalized return earning. Reserves capitalization. Date it has given 1st July 2000. 1st July 2020. It has given reserves capitalization. In second part, reserves capitalization, it has given company capitalized reserves. Therefore, reserves capitalization. Reserves capitalization. Reserves capitalization. Reserves capitalization mean bonus issue. Think about it has given ratio 1 share for every 5 shares. Number of shares available 500,000. Therefore, think number of share issue as reserves capitalization. 1 share issue for every 5 shares. Divide by 5 into 1. This is the number of share issue as reserves capitalization. And given per share price 90. Per share price 90. Therefore, value can be calculated 100,000 into 90. Therefore, this is the reserves capitalization value. Reserves capitalization. Think what is the net impact? Ordinary share increase and reserves decrease. It is not effect for cash. Reserves capitalization. Next one, it has given right issue. Think right issue also. It has given further right issue was made for 1 share. It has given issue 1 share for every 6 shares. Think right issue also. Issue 1 share for every 6 shares. Issue 1 share for every 6 shares. Think date 1st January 2021. After reserves capitalization. Try to recognize at the time of reserves capitalization number of shares. At the time of right issue, number of shares available how much? Think opening balance 500,000. Opening number of shares 500,000 plus reserves capitalization number of shares. As a result of share issue, share capital increase by share capital increase. Therefore, now number of shares available 600,000. Then given issue 1 share for every 6 shares. Therefore, number of share issue can be calculated 600,000 divided by 6 into 1. This is a number of share issue as a reserves right issue. Number of shares gone. Issue karapu number of shares gone. Number of shares available at the time of right issue 600,000. Think opening balance plus reserves capitalization. share issue කරනකොට shares ගන්න වැඩි වෙනවා. Therefore now number of shares available 600,000. Issue one share for every 6 shares. Therefore this is the issue number of shares as reserves capital as right issue. First share price is given 80. Therefore value can be calculated. Number of shares 100,000. First share price 80. Value equal 8 million. Think right issue cash increase, share capital increase. Therefore both value effect for share capital increase. There's share capital increase by how much? Therefore think share capital increase by total value. Therefore share capital increase by both right issue and reserves capitalization effect for share capital increase. Share capital increase. Share capital increase by think as a result of right issue, share capital increase 9 million. So as a result of reserves capitalization, and as a result of right issue, share capital increase by 8 million. Therefore 17 million effect for share capital increase. If there's increase in equity, only right issue you have to consider. Equity increase when effect when right issue with think reserves capitalization, share capital increase, reserves decrease. Net impact for equity 0. If there's participate for cash, effect for cash only right issue. Therefore cash increase by 8,000. If there's equity increase by how much? 8 million. If there's cash increase by how much? 8 million. But if there's share capital increase by 17 million. Sometimes there's number of shares increased by how much? If there's number of shares increased by how much? 200,000. ඔන්න අහන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. Sometimes there's number of shares increased by how much? Think number of shares 200,000. Share capital increased by 17 million. If there's equity increased by how much? 8 million. If there's cash increased by how much? Also 8 million. Sometimes there's double entry, reserves capitalization. Retain earning account debit 9 million. Stated ordinary share capital account credit 9 million. If there's double entry. If there's double entry for right issue, cash account debit 8 million. Stated ordinary share capital account credit 8 million. Think at the same time, sometimes there's net impact for earning per share, net impact for dividend per share, net impact for return on equity ratio. There's net impact for debt ratio, debt equity ratio. Think as a result of right issue. Think what is effect for share capital. Therefore, here there's increase or decrease share capital of the company. Therefore, increase in share capital of the company 17 million. Answer is the third one. Read carefully requirements. Requirement very important. Right after break, I will discuss comparison together with manufacturing accounts. ඔන්න තාම exam එකේ ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. manufacturing account එක හදලා company ගණක් හදන්න. මේ පාරේ. I will discuss after break. Class will be start again 11 o'clock. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න බලන්න. practice එකෙන් තමයි resource එක හැදෙන්නේ. ඕගොල්ලෝ කළ යුතු දේ ගණන් හදන එක. පාඩම් කරන්න දේවල් නැහැ මේකේ. තියෙන්නේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක විතරයි. ඒවා නිකම්ම රියලයිස් වෙනවා ගණන් හදාගෙන යනකොට. ඒතර ගණන් හදනකොට ඔය ඔක්කොම ප්‍රශ්න ටික විසඳෙනවා. right 11ට එන්න. වෙලාවට එන්න company with manufacturing accounts.